are watching Darasa Online.
Hello students, my name is Bruno Mligo, an economics teacher, and today we are going to discuss the topic of national income and the subtopic of income inequality. So our topic, the subject is economics. Our topic, national income, and the subtopic, income our subtopic is income inequality. Now, the income inequality means the differences or the disparities in income between individuals or groups or classes. So the income inequality exists when there is a large gap of income between people or between individuals or sectors in the economy. When we say there is a large gap, it means in the economy we'll have a few people who own large percentage of the national income, and the majority of the people own very few wealth or national income of a country. So here we said there is income gap. It means very few are rich while the majority of the population are very poor. So when such a situation exists, we say the situation is income inequality. Now let us see the forms of income inequality. The following are the forms of income inequality. One is individual inequality. Individual inequality. Now, under this situation, we are saying an individual inequality exists when there is a difference of income among individuals in the economy. It means some of the individuals or some of the people in the economy have a large amount of income or large wealth, while others have very few or low wealth or incomes. So individual inequality means individuals differs in income, that some are rich, are very rich, while others are very poor, or some individuals or few individuals own a large amount of wealth, while the majority own very small ratio of the income. And the second, regional inequality. Now, in regional inequality means there is difference in wealth or incomes between regions. This describe the differences in wealth or income among regions. That means some regions are very rich in terms of natural resources, in terms of infrastructures, in terms of human resources, while some regions are very poor in terms of natural resources, infrastructures, and human resources. For example, we can compare the regions like Mbeya and Singida. So when you compare the three regions, Mbeya and Mosh regions are very rich in terms of natural resources, and infrastructures. While the region like Singida is poor in both natural resources and infrastructures like buildings and the other facilities like hospitals and whatever. So in Singida, when you compare Singida and Moshi or Mbeya, you can see these two regions are very rich in terms of resources or wealth compared to this region. Now the third is sectorial inequality. Under this, different sectors have different wealth or income. For instance, agriculture sector and mining sector. Agriculture and mining. So you can see that those people who are employed in agriculture or who are working in the agriculture sector, they have low level of income compared to those individuals who are working in mining sector. So the sectoral inequality exists when one sector has large amount of wealth or contribute large amount of wealth in the national income, while other sectors contribute a very small percentage of national income. And the fourth form of inequality is urban, rural inequality. Now, urban rural inequality means in towns or in urbans or in areas where are highly developed like Dar es Salaam, Arusha, or area where there is towns, the wealth or incomes is bigger than in areas where, let's say, most of the farmers exist. So in towns like Dar es Salaam, Arusha, here we can see that people, individuals living in these regions have high income or high wealth, while those living in rural areas, we can say those who are living in towns like Dar es Salaam and Arusha have a high or large wealth or income. As you can see, in these regions, there are very big buildings. While in rural areas, there are no such kind of what? Buildings or assets which exist in these regions. So, and these regions which are located in towns like Dar es Salaam and Arusha, you can see have higher wealth or income. It means have higher buildings or big buildings. While in rural areas, you can't see big buildings. You can see very, very small houses and whatever. So urban-rural inequality exists when some regions or in towns have big buildings, while in rural areas there are small or poor buildings. So that is the form of inequalities which exist in our economy or in the country. Now, after discussing the forms of inequality, now let us discuss the methods or measures how we can control inequality among individuals or regions. The first measures, we can use taxation policy. Taxation policy. Now, to reduce the income gap or the income among individuals, we can use a tax policy. Now, under this one, we can use the direct tax, whereby those people with higher income should be charged high taxes, and those people with low income should be charged a low rate of taxation. So, under this policy, we use a tax we call pay as you earn. It means the rich are charged high, while the poor are charged low tax. So when we use these policies, it will help to redistribute the income among individuals. So the higher or the rich will be charged higher taxes, and the poor will be charged low taxes. The second, you can use wage policy. Now, under wage policy, here the government set a minimum wage that an individual should receive in the economy. So the government set a minimum wage an individual should receive. So the government set a minimum wage. Minimum wage, an individual should be paid. It means that any employer should not pay the wages below the minimum wage. So this will help the poor people to buy the necessities or the goods and services which required to sustain their life. So the third policy or the third method, we use balanced resource allocation. Now, under this, the government ensure that all regions or all areas should receive the basic facilities. For instance, hospitals, education centers, and so forth. So under balanced resources allocation, it means when the government distribute funds, should consider all regions in our country. So under this one, the government redistribute facilities equal to all regions. Example, hospitals, schools, etc. So the government should make sure that even in urban or rural areas, the hospitals or schools should be located there. Don't concentrate only either in town or in some regions. So make sure that all regions have hospitals or schools. So the balancing resource allocation means all regions should have all these important services. The fourth measures is provision or provide subsidies. Now, under this, the government should provide an assistance or funds to producers who producing basic goods and services or basic needs which the poor people will consume. So the government will assist those who producing those basic goods and services. The fifth policy or measures is development. Now under this, the government should make sure that they improve or they develop important infrastructures around the economy. As we can see, currently our government trying to establish, as we know, the government use a lot of funds to establish the railway from Darasa to Morogoro. So that is all the efforts which are done by the government. Also, we can see all over the country, there are roads or tarmac roads which are connecting all the regions. So those are efforts which are done by the government to make sure that our people or the people in the economy will be able to transport or to transfer their goods and services from one region to another region easily. So infrastructure is very important in the economy. Let us have a break, then we'll come and solve a certain problem which is concerning about the income inequality, and we'll discuss the Lorenz curve. The Lorenz curve is the graph which showing how the income distribution or how the inequality exists in the economy. So the Lorenz curve is the locus or graph which shows how is the income inequality among individuals among individuals in the economy. So here we'll use a curve or graph to show the income inequality among individuals, among sectors, or among countries in the economy. Let us consider this diagram. You draw the rectangle like this one, which is a squared rectangle. Then you draw a line which shows a perfect equality. You draw a line to this rectangle which shows a perfect equality. So this line shows the Lorenz curve will be below this line of perfect equality. Will exist like this one. So we know that this is perfect line of equality, and this curve is the Lorenz curve. This one is the Lorenz curve. Now, under this curve, when this curve, Lorenz curve, is far away from this perfect line of equality, this shows that there is inequality in this economy. It means when you see there is a gap, or this Lorenz curve is away from this perfect equality, means there is what? Income inequality among individuals in this economy. So under the vertical axis, you'll put percentage of wealth, and on the horizontal, you'll put percentage of population. So the interpretation will be, if this curve bowed away from the perfect of the perfect equality, it means there is what? Income inequality. Now, let us solve this problem. Let us consider the following problem. Study the income data in the following table. We are given the percentage population, then the percentage of income, and we are asked to plot the Lorenz curve, then determine the percentage of wealth which is owned by the lowest 50% of the population, then the percentage of wealth which is owned by top 20% of the population, and comment on the shape of the Lorenz curve. Let us redraw the information in a table. We are given percentage population, then percentage income. Okay. Now we have the first group, which own the total income of 0.2%, and the second group own 0.8 of the total income, and the third group own 1.4%, and the fourth group own 1.6%, and the fifth group own 6.5%, and the sixth group the fifth group own 4.0 and the sixth group own 6.5. Then the seventh group own 9.0. The eighth group own 13.0. Ninth group own 18.5. And the 10th group own 45.0%. Now, we are asked to plot the Lorenz curve. Now, in order to plot the Lorenz curve, we need to find, I hope all of you, my students, you know that in order to find to draw the Lorenz curve, you need first to find the cumulative percentage of income and percentage cumulative of population. So, let us add the column here. Now the two columns will be for a percentage cumulative of population, and here percentage accumulation of wealth or income. Now you need to accumulate this percentage. Now the population are grouped into 10. So the percent here will be 10%. Then you take 10, you add 10% to be 20%. Then 30%, 40%, 50%, 6%, 7%, 8%, 90%, and 100%. So when you accumulate the percentage population, we'll get this information. Also, we need to accumulate this income informations. So here is 0.2%. Then this plus this one will be 1.0%. This plus this one will be 2.4%. This plus this one will be 4.0%. 8.0%. This plus this one will be 13. So there will be 14.5%. Then this one will be 23.5%. This plus this will be 26. Sorry. This plus this will be 36.5%. This plus this one will be 55%. Then this plus this one will be 100%. So the cumulative population is this one, and the cumulative wealth or income is this information. So this one will be used to draw the Lorenz curve. So make sure that if you are asked to draw a Lorenz curve, use this information which you accumulated from this percentage. So you need to accumulate first, then you draw the Lorenz curve. Here I use my ruler to draw the square box like this one. Okay. Then you draw the horizontal axis. So make sure that the vertical axis and the horizontal axis should be equal. So this will be our So make sure that you use the graph paper to draw this. Also, you can draw this side. Then we join on the top also. So this is the square box where we can draw our Lorenz curve. So you join this diagonal from the left bottom to the top. So you join a diagonal, this one, so this line we call it as a perfect equality line. So this line we call it as a perfect equality line. So if the Lorenz curve lie on this line, it means there is no income inequality. Now let us locate our points. The horizontal axis will put percentage cumulative of population, and the vertical axis will put percentage cumulative of income or wealth. So here we have the sections 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So go with 10 units, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, then 100. So here is the cumulative population, and the vertical axis you put the cumulative income 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Now after inserting this information, now we start to plot the Lorenz curve. After inserting this information, we need to plot now the Lorenz curve. Now let us start at the first point. The percentage population is 10, and the percentage income is 0.2. So when population is 10, income is 0.2. So up to this point is 10, so 0.2 will be to this point if we use your scale. So let's assume here will be the 0.2. Now the 20% of the population own 1% of income. 20% own only 1% of income, let's say at this point. Again, 30% of the population, 30% own 2.4. So 30% own 2.4. Let's say after this one. And 40% of the population own the income 4.0%. So 40% own the income of 4%. So the maybe at this point. Again, 50% of population, 50% own 8.0%. 50 own 8.0%. Yes, let's say at this point. Then 60% own 14.5%. 60 own 60% own 14. Let's say we can write also this side 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, then 100. So we said 60% own 14. So 60% this one, then 14 will be maybe to this point. So it will be like at this point. Then 70% own 23.5. 70% own 23.5. 70% 23.5. Yeah. Okay. 80% 36.5. 80% 36.5 for the width. Be at this point. Then 90% 55.0. 90% 55.0. Yes. At this point. Then the last 100%, 100%. So 100%, 100%. So put at this top. Then after that, you need to join these points. So you join these points by using your free hand. Don't use ruler to join this point. Yeah. Now, this curve is the Lorenz curve. So you can label this one as a Lorenz curve. So this is how you can draw the Lorenz curve. if you are asked to draw. So make sure that you do like this one. Here is A. B, we are asked to determine the percentage of wealth which is owned by the lowest 50% of the population. Now from Lorenz Curve, you can see the 50% of the population is this one. Okay? Now, you can go up to the Lorenz Curve. Okay? Then you see the percentage the percentage of income which is owned by 50% of the population. The lowest population, the 50%, you add this up to 50, so the wealth which is owned by the 50% of the population is 8. So I think if we use a graph, you can see that the 8 be this one. So 8 will be there. So you can say that, so for the case B, Roman 1, you can say 50% of the population, or the lowest population own 8.0%. Then Roman 2, we asked what or determine the percentage of wealth which is owned by the top 20%. So the top 20% is this one. So the population now, top 20, B, so you take the difference from 80 to 100. So the top 20, percent own, the top 20% means their incomes, you go up to somewhere, is at 6.5, then 100. So when you minus here, will be 5 point, yes, 9396. So the top 20% own 63.5% of the national income, or the total wealth. Then the last, we are asked to comment on the shape of the Lorenz curve. Number C, to comment, you need to compare between the perfect line of equality and the Lorenz curve. Now, if the perfect line and the Lorenz curve is far away, so you can conclude that there is higher income inequality, or the income inequality exists. So the last, you can say, since the Lorenz curve is further far away, or further away from the perfect equality, this shows a high inequality. This shows high or higher inequality. So under this we can say there is higher inequality since the Lorenz curve is farther away from the perfect what? Perfect line of equality. So thank you. I hope you revise this concept, so make sure that you do more practice concerning the issues of Lorenz curve and how to interpret this. Thank you.